Wall Street veteran Bernard Madoff has been arrested and charged with running a $50 billion Ponzi scheme.
Congress wants to know what caused the Enron meltdown.
Now, while the collective rage currently is focused on WorldCom,
Tyco CEO Dennis Kozlowski was convicted of looting hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is one of the biggest fraud cases ever.
Their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Find out more on this week's episode of White Collars, Red Hands.
Forbes, the American business magazine, has been putting out issues since my man Birdie Charles Forbes released its inaugural publication in 1917. They have often been looked to as one of the main sources for trustworthy financial news and advice. And in 2011, they started releasing a list of young up-and-comers in the world of business every year. They dubbed this list the 30 Under 30, where they pick 30 people still yet to have their dirty 30th that are making moves. Although there are much more than 30 nominees selected every year, as they select from 20 different categories, actually meaning that there are 600 30 under 30s every single year.
Oh, wow.
Recently, though, the nominees have come under fire, as many of the people selected to this list later turn out to be fraudsters, as reporter Chris Bake reported that collectively all nominees for the 30 under 30 as of April 2023 had raised $5.3 billion in venture capital for their projects, but have been arrested for frauds and scams worth $18.5 billion.
Whoa.
More than 3 times the total funding. This led Forbes in November to release their Hall of Shame list that encompasses 10 previous nominees that the magazine now regrets. Of these 10, we have already covered 3 on the podcast. Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison, both from FTX, and the pharma bro himself, Martin Shkreli. So today, we are going to briefly discuss the other 7 members of the Hall of Shame. And who knows, maybe some will get the full episode treatment in the future.
What's your birthday?
When's my birthday?
No. How old are you on this birthday?
Oh, 29.
You got one more year to get on that 30 under 30.
I know. I missed the 27 club, so now I'm hoping for the 30 under 30. I was like, well, I didn't become a rock star and die early, so now I have to, try.
Yeah, right.
Do something with my life.
Woof.
I mean, hey, some of the people on here, I could do it in a year.
Yeah.
I could fake something
You
in a
got
year.
this.
I will end up on this list as well. I'm going to be on the Hall of Shame because
No, you won't.
I'm not doing it. Oh, you're right. I'm smart enough to.
Yeah, you know how to not get caught.
I'm tricksy. That's not true. I'd get caught immediately. That's why I don't do it.
You're not me. I would get caught before I even started.
Yeah, they would be able to see it on your face.
I've got such a big mouth. I'd be like, hey guys, I'm running a Ponzi scheme. You want to join?
This is a police station.
Oh, shit.
You.
Arrest me, officer.
Oh, weird. Now it's weird. I don't want to arrest you anymore.
Damn it.
I'm not putting handcuffs anywhere near you.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna get the Peter Griffin cop to come take care of you.
I didn't watch that episode of Family Guy.
I don't think there was. I was just saying someone who
the fat, ugly one?
Yeah. Someone who looks and acts like
Joke's
Peter
on
Griffin.
you. My type is ugly. I love having the satisfaction of feeling like I am the hottest person that someone has slept with. So I love fucking ugly guys.
We're not
going
to unpack that. Welcome back to another episode of White Collars, Red Hands, everybody. I'm Kashawn.
And I'm Nina.
And we have problems. I'm joking. You have problems.
I went to therapy today.
Well, yeah, so
3 hours ago. Yep, 3 hours ago.
So you feel healed enough to overshare. Is what you're saying.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening in on another episode today. We are talking about the Forbes Hall of Shame. We're doing another mashup episode.
Yeah.
We did MLMs.
I like mashup.
This is like the weirdest season because we're doing 2 matchups together. We did the 2 listener submitted episodes together back to back.
We didn't really mean to do that when we planned this.
We usually just look at the topics and be like, who wants what?
Yeah.
What would be best to start and end with? And then this happened.
Yeah, we didn't do it on purpose.
So, but nevertheless, here we are, and actually might be fun today because we don't have to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to learn about 7 different people today. So it's like
I love surface level.
I know you do. This is going to be like when you go to a dinner party with one of your friends and like 7 of their friends that you're not mutual friends with.
Like your birthday party the other day.
Yeah, so you invite someone over.
I only knew Kashan, his girlfriend, and one other person a little bit.
That was true for quite a few people there, though. So
that's fair.
So, it was...
And you know what? I still had fun.
I'm diverse. But that's what it's going to be like today. You guys are going to get to learn...
I forgot your birthday present.
7 new people. I know, fuck you. I was looking for something in your hands and you walked in and I wasn't going to say it, but that's fine.
I'll bring it next week.
My birthday's over. Throw it away.
I'm not throwing it away. It's really cool.
Fair enough. So yes, we're meeting 7 new people today at the dinner party. And the first one on the table that Forbes regretted was Charlie. God, this is a bad last name. Javis?
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
Or Javice.
Or Javice.
Javice, like ceviche.
Yeah.
Charlie Javice. That's what we're gonna call her. Who made her way onto the list in 2022. So she was one of the quickest regrets they had because they dropped the list in 2023. Classic rich white people daughter. Her dad was a hedge fund worker and her mother was a life coach. So both of them had equally real jobs.
I don't understand what life coaches do.
They have monetized lying. So have a lot of people, but oh man, I don't know. They're just like vibes. They monetize vibes.
Yeah. They're like, you can do it. Vibes.
They're like, I don't know, touch crystals about it. $1,000, please.
Literally.
Get one of those freaking sand gardens. $5,000, please. What a great life coach. Dog.
Maybe I should become a life coach. I think I'd be good at it.
I don't know.
Let's talk about ceviche.
Javice. Set up on third base, Javice was perfectly positioned to both gain entry and graduate from the highly esteemed and oldest business school, the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania.
I've never heard of it. Have you?
Yes.
Oh.
She was most interested in technology companies related to financial issues. So after her graduation in 2013, she began focusing on creating a job search website, which then somehow evolved into trying to create an alternative to the FICO credit score. Replacing the credit score might have been a little ambitious, so instead she focused on solving an issue that many people have to deal with, including myself, the process of trying to find funding for an American college education. She aimed to simplify the process by which entering college students get connected to financial institutions to receive grants and loans. And I actually find this pretty interesting, as Charlie most definitely did not have to apply for loans or probably scholarships to attend her program with a dad that worked at a hedge fund.
Well, maybe she had empathy.
Remember what list she's on today?
True.
She opened her company, Frank, in 2016, which is a terrible name.
To be frank.
I'm assuming that's what it was. Like to be honest, I have no idea. It doesn't seem to have anything to do.
Is it an acronym?
Not that I could find. And when they put it on things, not all the letters are capitalized or anything. It just looks like the name Frank.
Weird.
Just the F is capitalized. At the time, it promised to help students complete the free application for federal student aid, also known as FAFSA, which contains over 100 questions, and it claimed that they could get that down to just a few minutes using a one-page questionnaire and algorithmic models. Like you put your name in or whatever, you fill out this questionnaire, and then it can fill out the entire FAFSA and submit it for you, is what they claimed. It also allowed students to connect with banks for private loans, and they offered a premium subscription because the base model was free, where if you paid, you gain access to extra help, including financial advisors. Although this sounds like a good idea, kinda, as I actually find the FAFSA to be pretty user-friendly nowadays. Like the government,
It's been so long since I filled it out.
it's like healthcare.gov. Like the government has made it to where like most websites they run now are pretty transparent. For as long as it's the federal government, state government websites are a trash fire.
Yeah.
But it's pretty all right. In the business, Frank had multiple hurdles in its few years. First one being the government, as the Department of Education accused Frank of misrepresenting itself as being associated with the U.S. government because their website name was frankfafsa.com.
That was dumb.
Yes.
That's just dumb.
So Frank eventually settled this claim out of court with the Department of Education in 2018. They removed FAFSA from the name and just became frank.com. Then one of the co-founders, Adi Omesi, sued Frank over wage theft, a case Charlie Javice lost and paid out $35,000 for in 2001.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Also, one of the founders, like, how can you steal wages from one of the founders? They probably skipped out on like a contract or something.
Yeah.
Even with these bumps in the road, though, Charlie pulled off the deal of a lifetime later that year when she sold the company to banking powerhouse J.P. Morgan Chase for $175 million, which included $9.7 million to Charlie in stock immediately, and a $20 million retention bonus because she stayed on as an executive at JP Morgan Chase, like she was like the director of student relations or something. Like they created an executive position for her to head up this new branch of their company. A year later, JP Morgan Chase would file a lawsuit against Javice, claiming she misrepresented the company. She pitched to them that over 4.25 million students had used their service, but in reality, it is alleged that she had paid a computer science professor $18,000 for a list of greater than 4 million of those names, replete with fake emails. And Chase only realized the fraud when they tried to send an email campaign using the list, which resulted in a high volume of them being undeliverable. The indictment against Javice was made public in May of 2023, and the investigation and trial process is still ongoing, which leads me to our first disclaimer, and the only one, because I'm going to say a broad one. A lot of these are still ongoing.
Yeah.
And all things are alleged.
Oh.
Unless we've said they have been arrested and convicted for it. So we move on to person number 2. We're introducing Natine, or Nate Paul, who is not the third Paul brother along with Logan and Jake, but is just as much of an asshole.
Damn.
Probably not, actually. Those guys are fucking...
Those guys...
They are on a different planet of assholery.
Yeah, they really are. They're kind of awful.
Kind of?
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're overtly awful.
Didn't one of them go to the suicide forest in Japan?
Yeah, and filmed it and then put it up online, but just like blurred out the body.
Yeah.
Because they saw a dead body.
That's right.
And they were like, did we just see a dead body? Let's put this on YouTube. And the thumbnail for that's gone viral. It's him like, he's in like those fucking little guys from Toy Story. He's wearing one of those hats. And he's like, got a surprise, like a classic YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
And it says, we found a dead body in the suicide forest. And he still he's a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, he is. Wasn't he starting to go into boxing?
He does do boxing. And this is why, actually. It's because people like us are now talking about him.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Damn it.
It's fine. It happens. Fucking asshole. But Nate Paul is a Texas real estate, or was a Texas real estate developer and founder of World Class Capital Group, and got his 30 under 30 induction in 2016. His first venture was actually a DJ business that he started at the age of 9 with just $6,000 from his dad and a dream.
His dad gave a 9-year-old $6,000 for a DJ company?
It seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the ROI on that was.
So, I feel like his parents were probably rich, and that $6,000 wasn't a lot of money to them.
Maybe. I don't know. His parents were immigrants. It doesn't mean they're not. It doesn't mean they're not rich, but
because I know someone who's like, my mom is an immigrant. I have an immigrant parent, and it's like, yeah, your mom was a millionaire where she lived, and she came to the United States to model.
They're like a duke and
so,
duchess.
like, yeah, like, she did immigrate here, but it's not like I immigrated here because I had no other choices.
We immigrated here, and we only got to keep a vacation home back in our home country.
Literally.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Well, Nate later enrolled in the University of Texas, but left at age 19 to start his real estate firm that at its height held over $1.2 billion in assets.
Wow.
Including a string of self-storage businesses and the KPMG Tower in downtown Dallas. He operated primarily out of Houston, though. However, he was getting preferential treatment from the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, a friend of Paul's, and Paul also donated $25,000 to Paxton's campaign office. Paxton was suspended soon after this, though, as a whistleblower complaint came out that alleged that he was using his office to personally gain from keeping people's businesses in mind when they paid him in the form of bribes. It is believed that this donation from Paul was for this reason, that he bribed Ken Paxton. By the way, I fell into a rabbit hole, and there's no more here about Ken Paxton, but he's had so much controversy. He's the Attorney General in Texas. He's had so much controversy.
Wait, he's still the Attorney General?
Yes, and he's still under He's like under active investigation right now.
Well, it's crazy. In politics, sometimes you can still hold a position or run for a position when you are actively being investigated.
Yeah.
Kwame Kilpatrick.
And some other people. Paul was facing other issues, though, as the FBI raided his businesses in 2019, which led him to file for multiple bankruptcies. He was indicted and arrested in 2023 under allegations that he falsified the worth of his assets on loan applications at multiple financial institutions. And then this was followed up with 4 new counts of wire fraud relating to him falsely telling partners that he isolated assets from each partnership he entered into, when in reality, all just kind of went into a collective pot and Paul used it for anything. Nate has so far pled not guilty, and this is another process that's ongoing. So basically, in bed with the Attorney General, and then stole a bunch of money. Lied to get loans, and mixed a bunch of money together illegally. So the next person on the list is kind of a really big piece of shit, but he didn't really commit any financial crimes, and is just kind of like a bad dude. He did commit crimes, though. All right. So I meant to briefly mention Cody Wilson, and then I think I put more.
You didn't briefly mention him?
I think I ended up putting more in this than
right.
I mentioned. It was slightly less than brief. But he made the list in 2014. He started a company that specialized in open source files that allow the 3D printing of gun parts and designs so that anyone around the world with a 3D printer could have a firearm, or at least parts. They were building like receivers for AK-47, stuff like that. His company, Defense Distributed, then began manufacturing and selling a CNC mill that produced parts for the AR-15.
I'm sorry, what's a CNC mill? Because I only know one definition of CNC.
Well, it's not.
And it cannot be that.
It's not that one. It's basically like it's got like a bit and it cuts stuff out.
Okay.
Here, look it up.
Computer numerical control.
There we go. A computer numerical control mill. And it produced parts for the AR-15. They named him to the list because of this. Like, that's what led up to him getting onto the list. However, he stepped down from the company after he paid an underage girl for sex, which he never denied, by the way. He just denied that he knew her real age.
How old was she?
I think it just said she was under 17. I don't know. Supposedly, it was on a website called, I think it was sugardaddies.com. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't like you already knew. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I guess you have to agree that you're 18 to be on that site. So that's what he argued. And the charge was downgraded from sexual assault against a minor to injury of a child, which allowed him to avoid jail time. But he still...
How does that... Oh, I hate our system.
But he still had to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Right. And then Defense Distributed took him back into a leadership role. Although they said they demoted him a bit. He's not like the sole leadership person, but he is
second in command.
He is still in a leadership role.
He's just second in command.
And then they went on to file multiple successful lawsuits against the American government for trying to shut down their gun printing business because they don't actually sell the guns, just the blueprints. He also started an alt-right form of Patreon called, get this, Hatreon.
Good one.
That was shut down after
Patreon.
It was shut down after Visa decided that they weren't going to process their credit card transactions anymore because most of the money was going to white supremacist groups. He was like, there's so many different kinds of people on here. It's just an open platform. But really what it was is it was funding white supremacist groups. And since then, he has become a big advocate of crypto anarchism, crypto anarchy, whatever. He's really into like purposely obfuscating any financial deals. He doesn't think anyone should be able to look at them. So he's like a believer in like true cryptocurrency where you can't tell who's related to anything, who's buying what, who's selling what with complete anonymity.
Not sketchy at all.
Yeah, right? You know, it's only like when they tried that, it was immediately for drugs, human trafficking, and fucking like poison and hitmen.
Yeah.
Weird.
I didn't know about the hitman.
He has also been listed as one of the most dangerous people on the internet multiple times by Wired magazine. And Defense Distributed, that's still a company. And he's still doing stuff. And they're just, I don't know. They can't do anything.
Perfect.
The next regret on Forbes' list was James O'Keefe. And much like Cody Wilson, he did not commit any financial crimes and was rather on the media list in the 30 under 30 category in 2011. Because most of the people today are on the finance list. That's the one that everyone knows about. There's like sports. They do a sports 30 under 30. Lot of stuff. Venture capital, leisure, or like
Pretty sure Kylie
entertainment.
Jenner got on the Forbes 30 under 30.
I bet you that was in the entertainment category. They put like actors and stuff there.
Well, but she has her makeup line.
Then maybe it was finance. I don't know.
Might have been business. I don't know.
James O'Keefe is another far-right activist that became known for releasing undercover videos of liberal-aligned businesses, painting them in a bad light and showing them engaging in abusive or outright illegal behavior. This was all part of his activist group, Project Veritas, and he did this a lot, so I'm just going to give you a few highlights. His first target was Planned Parenthood, where he had a friend of his pose as a 15-year-old girl and then go in and say that she had been impregnated by a 23-year-old man and asking for an abortion. And he released secret video recordings of their interaction in which employees seemed to be supporting her getting an abortion without telling her mother, which is illegal. You have to get, if you're under 18, you have to get consent.
I don't think it's illegal in every state.
Well, it was here. I did not know that, but I guess there are 10 states where you don't need to inform your parents or get their consent. And I didn't get to watch these videos, but that was heavily, I was assuming, what they were doing.
They probably lived in a state in which at least notification was required.
Yeah, and it would at least piss off conservatives and some people in general.
Even if they were in like New York or Illinois or one of these states that doesn't have any sort of consent or notification laws.
Yeah.
If you put that on the internet and the right people see it, they're going to become enraged.
Yeah.
So.
And it actually was later revealed, though, that the video had been heavily edited to purposefully omit the employees telling her to consult with her mom about the pregnancy and that they had to follow the law. So
they might not have encouraged her to just...
No, it was purposely edited to where it seemed like they were, but they weren't. And this is what O'Keefe is largely known for. And he's also, like, his biggest takedown he did was recordings of the Association of Community Organizations for Reform Now, or ACORN for short, an advocacy group for low and middle income families that is influential in elections.
My grandpa hated ACORN.
Really?
Yeah.
I had not really heard about them, so I was like, I
just know that... So... I don't know a lot about ACORN. I don't know exactly what they even do, or are they still around?
I think
I thought they were still around. My grandpa would always just like, I remember when Obama was elected and my grandfather was like not happy about Obama being elected. He was like, well, Acorn went around and rounded everybody up and then took them to the polls so they would vote for Obama.
They advocate to get like low and middle income people voting.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
Their voices also need to be heard. We don't want like an aristocracy.
Right. Exactly.
Well, O'Keefe released videos that seemingly showed employees of Acorn coaching O'Keefe on how to avoid authorities while committing a bevy of heinous crimes from tax evasion all the way up to human trafficking. When he posted the videos online, they had an intro of him wearing in like an over-the-top pimp outfit, which led many to believe that he was dressed up like that while he was talking to these people in the buildings, but he was actually just wearing normal clothes, because if someone's walking in with a pimp outfit, I'd be like, get the hell out. These videos were so damning in the court of public opinion that the California Attorney General offered O'Keefe limited immunity in return for the unedited tapes, as the video in the office there showed an employee complicit in a scheme to smuggle a young woman into America, like going along with it. However, authorities later confirmed that the employee had immediately contacted the authorities, stating that he went along with the plot to keep O'Keefe talking so that he would divulge as much information about the scheme as possible. So absolute W for that guy. He pretended to go along with it and then notified the police immediately and were like, this guy just came in. Here's everything he said. Here's his entire plan.
Damn.
So
that backfired.
After the video was released, though, the employee lost his job.
Oh, my God.
And was recognized by the general public. So he sued O'Keefe, which resulted in O'Keefe paying the employee $100,000 for violating California recording laws. All of the other offices were also quickly cleared as it became apparent that the videos were once again heavily doctored to change the impression that they gave. O'Keefe would continue to do this and did have a run-in with the authorities when the FBI raided his apartment in connection with a missing journal from Biden's daughter.
What?
Yeah, I guess they thought that he had stolen it or been complicit in some way to steal it and then released stuff from the journal online, like leaked it. But I don't know. It seemed like nothing came of that. And he would keep releasing doctor videos as a part of Project Veritas until they fired him, don't know why, in February of 2023.
Interesting.
So once again, just kind of that he was in the media category, and obviously this is very unscrupulous media
behavior.
Yeah. What's it? Ethics.
Yes.
There we go. To talk about the next person on the list, we jump across the pond to the UK.
All right.
All right, because Fadria Prendergast.
That sounds made up.
I spelt this wrong about 7 times.
How could you not?
Because I thought it was Fadra Pendergast, and then I was like, "There's an I in there," and then I was like, "There's an R in the last name." It's like it's Fadria Prendergast.
Prendergast. Fandria Prendergast.
So
are you here?
It does kind of sound like
present.
Sounds like a Harry Potter character.
I'm present. My name is Fandria Prendergast.
And I'm a Hufflepuff. She sounds like a Hufflepuff. Fadria Prendergast was named to the 30 under 30 Europe list in 2023. They went global. So there's more than 600 now, by the way. It's like, there's 600 in America, and then they do
international.
Yeah, they do other places. So it's like, you're giving so many of these away. Why do I even care anymore?
Yeah.
You should pick 30 people from everywhere. And
that's a lot.
And that should be your list. But no. Fadria was an inspiring success story at the time. The daughter of a Jamaican immigrant mother who raised her kids alone for most of their life. Fadria seemed to be the picture of an empowered, modern, BIPOC woman who wanted to see others like her not just survive, but thrive as small business owners and entrepreneurs. She manifested this by being the editor-in-chief of Women of the City magazine.
What city, though?
London.
Oh.
A publication that she was also the face for. This magazine was supposed to release periodicals on female small business owners in London to make the scene more connected and inspire young businesswomen. The spreads that they put out had many well-known people in the scene, so when they would reach out to a small business owner, of course, that person would jump at the opportunity to get their voices heard. After they completed the photo shoots for the magazine, women of the city would then inform these women that they actually need to pay for their place in the magazine, and the going rate was almost $6,500 US dollars.
Fuck.
Now, a surprise pay-to-play model in a publication that is supposed to be about activism is already like kind of fucked up. But what's even more fucked up is that Fadria and the rest of the people behind Women of the City would then just like ghost these women and never run the articles anyway. So they would like say, okay, we got it all prepared. We'll take the photos. And then we're like, that'll be $6,500.
And then never, ever publish it. Wow.
And then like one lady was like, I emailed them constantly. I was calling all the time. And Fadria, she was even in contact with Fadria, and just everyone ghosted her one day, just stopped responding to emails. Wild. Estimates from an independent investigation estimate that they took at least $195,000 from people that never even had a half a page ad run in their magazine. They did nothing. So almost $200,000 just stolen, basically. And honestly, the rabbit hole goes pretty deep on this story, because then comes the question, where did this money even go? So after Forbes kicked her off the list, they also released this big editorial, like deep dive investigation piece into Women of the City. And at first you might think, like many of our other stories, that Fadria just lined her own pockets, right? But that actually wouldn't be it. The magazine was actually operated in a secretive manner by a church in the UK known as Salvation Proclaimers Anointed Church, or SPAC.
That sounds...
SPAC Nation is what they actually went by.
Just keep going. I read the next sentence. I was going to say something, but never mind.
Okay. Well, it is an evangelical Pentecostal, these are your boys, prosperity gospel church.
So it is a cult.
Yeah, so they're crazy even compared to some other religious benchmarks.
Oh yeah, they're speaking in tongues. And
they're Pentecostal, and then they also preach that the belief in God and faith will bring you material wealth in this life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened to greed, bro. Like literally one of the 7 deadly sins.
Well, but if God provides it, like you can have wealth and not be greedy.
Yeah, but they're obviously covetous. They like show it off.
Well, yeah.
But they're using material wealth as like a stand-in for God, and that seems like can't do that. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems messed up. They largely draw a younger crowd since they hold services not in a boring ass church with pews, all right, but in high-end London hotels all over the city. It's at a different place like every weekend. And they claim over 1,000 members.
Wow.
Their founder, Toby Adegboyega, being the leader of a prosperity church, obviously parades around his high-end cars, including 2 Ferraris, a Rolls Royce, and a Lamborghini with the vanity plate Pastor, where the S is replaced with a 5, while wearing a $130,000 diamond ring with the church's motto inscribed on it.
That is pretty flashy.
Yeah, he's wearing like Italian like shoes and like suits and like those velvet high water pants. Very interesting. Women of the City was started by a female branch of this church known as the Phoebes, managed by Pastor Miriam Mola. And it is believed that the money they were stealing from the small business owners was being funneled into funding the church, because obviously that sounds expensive, especially since they had come under fire for opening these safe houses that they had nicknamed trap houses. Trap stood for something. I don't remember what it was.
Telling regular ass people.
It was like something for something in prosperity. I don't know. For youths to keep members...
Trade riches and prosperity.
Who knows? Away from crime. supposedly. They were like, yeah, we'll keep our members away from crime by offering them a safe space to stay. However, in 2019, police alleged that the church was run like a big cult, meant to funnel money upwards as members were pressured to donate their entire paychecks to the church and even donate blood in order to raise more money to tithe.
Wow.
Especially the people that were in the houses that lived there. They were also accused of much more heinous offenses involving sexual assault against multiple minors in their so-called safe houses. But we'll leave it there. Basically, a lot of bad stuff. Toby Adegboyega actually stepped down from his position, and the entire church became insolvent in 2022, although they still continue to operate under the new name, which is like Legion or something really stupid. Like it was like family with like an X in it. I really was like, I don't even know what this is supposed to mean. And 2 people were arrested in connection with the fraud case and safe house raids. But as of now, Fadria has only lost her spot on the list and not any of her life to jail time.
Wow. She should.
Yeah, she's still like decently active on Instagram. So these last 2 is where the list gets a little more like, I don't want to say like petty, but maybe just a little bit more tame than soliciting sex from a minor or like stealing millions of dollars.
Perfect.
And it's just kind of like, this person just kind of sucks. We want him off the list.
I'm fine with that.
And don't get me wrong, Steph Curry does suck. There's a reason why Forbes renounced her 2016 addition to their list. Steph was the founder of Away, which was a direct-to-consumer luggage retail business that started with her and former colleague at Warby Parker, Jen Rubio. They improved on traditional luggage designs, being one of the first to ever include a battery to charge your mobile devices on the go. All of this innovation caused them to raise $31 million and became one of the highest funded female-led startups in all of history, and started shipping their products in 2016, doing $50 million in sales the next year, and in 2018, they claimed over 150 employees. In 2019, however, a special report in The Verge was released saying that Steph Curry was a toxic boss and that the culture of the company was disastrous. Employees were constantly under watchful eyes of management, micromanaged, and demeaned through public humiliation on their Slack channel. I now read to you in full one such message that she sent out to the customer service team, who was dreadfully understaffed at this time, so keep that in mind. Hi, at CX Management. I know this group is hungry for career development opportunities, and in an effort to support you in developing your skills, I am going to help you learn the career skill of accountability.
Oof.
What you are accountable for is solving the problem for customers struggling to reach us on live platforms. Please feel free to think about all of the business levers you have in solving that, and feel free to partner with Name Redacted for support and feedback. To measure success, the EA team and I will be calling our CX number, which I think is like customer service number, and reaching out via live chat at random times 3 times per business day to hold you accountable, which is a very important skill that is translatable to many different work settings. No new PTO or work from home requests will be considered from the 6 of you. There's only 6 of them until we reach 5 consecutive days of all of our attempts to reach CX on live platforms being successful. If you have PTO days that are already approved in ADP, at this time, you can still take them. We will continuously reevaluate the business needs with relation to timing of taking paid time off as we observe the progress of solving this problem. If you have work from home days that are already approved in writing by me and already on my Google Calendar, you can still work from home that day. If they haven't already been approved via Slack by me and aren't already on my Google Calendar as of 8 a.m. today, please consider the request not approved.
Jesus.
I hope everyone in this group appreciates the thoughtfulness I've put into creating this career development opportunity. and that you're all excited to operate consistently with our core values to solve this problem and pace the way for being for the CX team being the best in class when it comes to being customer obsessed. Thank you.
How old is this woman?
She was probably like 40, in her 40s. Like, yeah, basically like just the way to frame it. Like, I'm going to teach you an important life skill by making it so that you can't have PTO. One of the people on this team, by the way, said that she would wake up, start working, take a break to eat dinner, and work in her bed until she fell asleep because of the amount of emails they were getting, and there was only 6 of them.
It's a lot.
She would also just like demean people. There were other Slack messages like, "Oh, if these people are so brain dead that they can't operate this thing," and you're like, "Ooh." So this was one of many derogatory messages that Steph sent out. Among multiple other allegations, Corey resigned from the company a few days after the Verge article was released. Although she said that it wasn't right for her to resign and that the report had been inaccurate. So it was kind of no surprise when then about a week after the resignation, she renounced it, staying on as co-CEO. She eventually did step down, though, in late 2020 and is probably, I don't know, yelling at a waiter for another skinny margarita in a Chili's right now.
Probably is. Yeah, that bitch would drink a skinny margarita.
She looks like it. Just
Salted
saying.
rim.
Oh, yeah.
2 straws.
Blended if they offer it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, she's going to bitch about it.
Absolutely. You don't have a fucking blender in the back?
You don't have a blender in the back?
You can't just put ice in a margarita in a blender? Oh, that's too hard for you? Fine, I'll take it on the rocks. Oh, I'll hit you, lady.
Do you have crushed ice?
Because it's already close to being blended, so you might as well just put that in the blender. Can you just put that in a mixer? It'll do the same thing as long
If
as
you
it's
shake
crushed.
it long enough.
Wow, that would be a whole new level of care. Actually, you just shake it till it turns into a blended drink. So honestly, the last one on the list is just like kind of sad, and I did keep it short for this one. Lucas Duplin cemented his spot in the list in 2014 as the founder of Klinkle, an online payment app. Duplin was a computer science student at Stanford who started building the app with other students over a summer. And it was basically supposed to be Apple Pay before Apple had even thought about Apple Pay and before Venmo was really popularized. And he ended up raising $25 million to fund the company and hired former Netflix CFO to be their COO. And that person brought even more Netflix execs over to the company. But Duplin stayed on as their CEO. And with him at the helm, they always just kind of lagged behind on actually delivering their product. They released they did a whole year of just saying like, our product will be released on this date in like a year from now, where you could download the app and that's all it would say. So he was kind of just like a kid and like bad at business, and someone gave him $25 million. They finally did release the product in 2014, but they had lost any sort of competitive edge because Venmo had already been out. Apple Pay had already been out. So they just pivoted, and basically they were an online bank. And Duplin has most recently just tried to get into cryptocurrency.
Oh.
So
it's just like him being a loser.
Yeah, he was just like just bad at it. They just didn't
He
deliver.
didn't do anything wrong. He just was bad at it.
Yeah, he was bad at It's just one of the biggest failed startups. Like, they were really hyped and then they failed really hard. But it's not because they were like
doing anything wrong.
Yeah, nothing like criminal. They just raised a bunch of money and they were bad at business. They blamed this guy. Also, there was a picture of him and oh god, what's the CEO of like Virgin Mobile? Mm-hmm. People know him in like the UK, and I think here he's kind of controversial. There was a picture of them burning fake $100 bills at some point. So that was another thing I guess people were like pissed off about. And I'm like, it's like 24.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, let's give this 24-year-old $25 million and just expect him to make this brand new app. Didn't work out. So there it was. Some of the lowlights of the Forbes 30 under 30 list. It goes to show you that no matter how much financial analysts or experts claim to know, they still get things wrong. Business can be just as much luck as it is skill. And with a few of these stories, the ones behind the helm just weren't good people. However, Forbes is still cranking out these lists like the Duggars did with children. It was the 30 under 30 today, but wait until you hear all of the scandal coming out of the 40 under 40. Just kidding. But that is a list. They do the 40 under 40.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they
Might
did
as
that.
well. I
had no idea they did that.
Let's do the fucking 100 under 100. All right? Who cares? But Forbes has gotten it pretty wrong in the past. And the list, as well as the honorable mentions, but Forbes has gotten it pretty wrong in the past, including these two honorable mentions that are White Collars, Red Hands alumni, Elizabeth Holmes and Trevor Milton, who were being heavily pushed by the publication. I think they both ended up getting like a cover at one point to Forbes, and both of those didn't work out so well. So don't listen to them. Put all of your money in dried corn kernels, because I hear that's popping. That's popping.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that.
Because it's popping.
What's popping?
The
Brand
dried
new
corn
whip just
kernels.
walked in. I got options. Got this new holiday locked in.
Anyway, I'm sorry if you stayed for that last joke, but you won't have to stay much longer because you know what time it is.
Time for the outro.
It's outro time. So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of White Collars, Red Hands. If you liked what you heard today, you want to support, feel free to do that in any way possible. Screaming it outside your windows, writing a note, putting it in a bottle, throwing it into the ocean, or something less weird. You could just go and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can write till your heart's content on Apple Podcasts or just give us a star rating on Spotify. Both of those are fine. If you listen on something else, look at you, you little indie podcast listener. Oh my God. I actually only listen on Player FM. Great for you. Why don't you subscribe, follow us on there too? Hell, pop over to YouTube.
Please.
And subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up, hit that bell, smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And watch our faces, right? You never know what might happen live and on camera. Okay? So you can go over to YouTube. You can also watch the video podcast on Spotify if that's your thing. It's weird, but you can do that if that's something you're interested in. You could also support us by just like giving us money in exchange for goods. You can go to our website, whitecollarsredhands.com. There's a little tab that says check out our merch. You can go there, buy a t-shirt, and support us that way. And while you're there, you can drop us a line in our contact us box, and you can submit a listener submitted episode for season 15, which will be coming up in, I don't even know what number this is this season. I've kind of lost track. But it's coming up at some point, and your idea can be in there. Are you disassociating over there?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. I like zoned out.
Okay, you know what that means.
Sorry, guys, I did not mean to do that.
We gotta get Nine into bed. Top fun nappy. She's still got that blanket from yesterday or last week, not yesterday.
I was not here yesterday.
Look, she's a burrito. She's a burrito. So that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on another episode of White Collars,
Red Hands.